Yes, Kirtana Mataji, we can start.
Okay, so thank you all so much for joining us in this Bhagavad Gita as it is, 18 chapters in 18 weeks. And thank you all so much for joining us. We are really inspired seeing your consistent presence, your attendance in this call. So thank you all so much. So today we will do this chapter number 10, which is Vibhuti Yoga, the opulence of the Absolute. And today we'll have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji with us to enlighten us in this chapter. So Mataji, you can please take over. And thank you everyone once again for your presence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all so much again. It's so wonderful to be back again in this wonderful group, discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, summary of all the chapters. So today, as Kirtira Sundari Mataji said, we are going to do chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, opulence of the Absolute. And this chapter becomes extremely important because we have the celebrated Chatur Shloki in this chapter. So the four essential or the four most important verses of the Bhagavad Gita are embedded in this chapter, and it gives us the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So it's going to get very interesting, and we'll get started. We'll start off with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschayat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So before we head into chapter 10, as we have been following the format, we will first have an overview of chapter 9. So chapter 9 was extremely interesting. Anyone remembers the acronym for chapter 9?
It was King.
It was King, yes, the King. And we saw about Rajavidya, the King of all knowledge. So Krishna started off talking about knowledge. What is the qualification of a recipient who's receiving knowledge? The qualification for Arjuna, since he was receiving the knowledge from Krishna, was that he was a devotee and a friend of Krishna. And Krishna told him that he's going to impart the king of knowledge, which is all joyful, susukam kartum avyayam. Remember, it's all joyful, it's everlasting, and by performing what Krishna had to tell, by imbibing this knowledge and performing the activities as suggested by him, all the sins would be purified for a person. So he was pretty much teaching the science of devotional service. And he said how it's such a wonderful practice, and one's sins can all be eradicated by receiving the right knowledge and practicing devotional service. Then in the acronym King, I was for inconceivable Lord. So the Lord is inconceivable. He has inconceivable qualities, and his creations are inconceivable as well. So he described about how it is very difficult to understand Krishna. But if one has devotion in the heart, it becomes very easy, because Krishna's mercy becomes easily accessible to such a person. Then he spoke about what happens if you neglect Krishna, how Krishna deals with everyone. He explained that if you are favorable, it is good. And he spoke about the results of those who may not be able to take up this wonderful path that he had described. Some people get diverted, they worship demigods, and then the results are varied. So he was talking about the varied results. Then finally, he came to the crux of the chapter, which is glories of devotional service. How nice devotional service is. Bhakti Yoga is so simple. It can be easily performed, happily performed. And one attains freedom from all miseries and attains also an eternal life of happiness. And towards the very end of the chapter, he spoke about how one should continuously think of Krishna and worship him. Manmana bhavamat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So that's how he ended chapter 9. He spoke about how you should always think about me and always worship me. So that was the final message he gave in chapter 9. And now we are going to transition to chapter 10, the opulence of the absolute. And the acronym we are using for this chapter is SEES. To see, SEE, and we have an extra S, one who sees, right? So extra S there. S, the first S is source of everything. These are verses 1 through 7. And then E is the essence of the Gita, verses 8 to 11. This is what I was talking about, the Chaturshloki verses, which is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So it's really worth, for those who are fans of memorizing verses, it's worth memorizing these 4 verses. You would get the quintessence of the entire Bhagavad Gita just by understanding these 4 verses. The next is E for everywhere, verses 12 to 41, and S for the super soul of everything that exists, which is verse 42, single verse. Okay. So in the previous chapter, Krishna told us that you should fix your mind on me and you should worship me. That's how he ended the previous chapter, right? But then how do we do it practically? So Krishna comes here and he tells us how to practically implement that. So for that, he describes the different manifestations of his varied opulence. Krishna is the source of everything. But the details of how he is the source of everything and how he pervades this entire creation is what he tells us in this chapter. So we should be able to see God's hand in everything. We should understand that God is just, not just a creator, but he's also very personal and he's present in everything. He's easily accessible. He's within this creation and he's completely worthy of our worship because of his easy accessibility. So that's what he's going to describe in this chapter. And very similar to the previous chapter, Krishna begins to talk about the qualification of the recipient. So in the 9th chapter, first verse, we saw Krishna told Arjuna, you're my devotee and my friend, so I'm going to reveal this knowledge unto you. So similarly, here again, Krishna, he tells why he's going to tell this knowledge about himself, the opulence of the absolute. Why is he going to describe that? Because Arjuna is definitely a qualified recipient. And not only is he a devotee and a friend, but Krishna also tells him that Arjuna is very non-envious and faithful. So he talks about 2 more qualities here. If a person is very envious of someone, it is very hard for us to love that person, right? If you're envious of someone, you can't really like that person. You don't like him, you have envy, and hence you don't like him. So they are mutually dependent. And if there is envy in the heart, how would you be faithful to that person? They're all connected. So Krishna tells Arjuna that you are non-envious and you're faithful. So if I give you some knowledge, you're going to accept it and you'll understand it with an open heart. So I'm going to explain this for you. So he says, I'm going to reveal a more confidential knowledge, a more wonderful knowledge, which you'll be very happy to know. And this is for your benefit. So he begins to say that he's the source of everything that exists in this universe. He's the source of all the qualities, all the variety that you see in the universe. And not only is he the source of all different qualities and all the variety in this universe, but he is also the source of every person that exists within this universe. The great controllers of this universe, like Brahma and Brahma's sons, like the Kumaras, everyone is actually born from Krishna. Krishna says, I am the source of each and every one in this world. So there are millions and trillions and quadrillions of jivas in this world, and Krishna is the original source of everything. He's the source of the creation, and he's also source of all the living entities, however small or big they may be. The ant or Brahma. Brahma is the greatest living entity in this universe, the greatest jiva of this universe. Right from Brahma down to the ant, the little ant that is crawling in our balcony, right to that ant, everybody in this universe actually emanate from the Supreme Lord. It's very difficult to understand this Supreme Lord by one's mental speculation. If you're trying to understand Krishna through your knowledge or through some sort of a speculation, or maybe God is like this, God is like that, you start thinking in your mind just by scholarship, by reading books or by speculating, one can never understand the glory of the Lord. Krishna can be understood only by the causeless mercy of Krishna. So because one can understand Krishna only through his mercy, he is now giving that mercy to Arjuna, and he's revealing about himself. So he decides to reveal the knowledge because he is the one who knows the best about himself, right? So he wants to give that knowledge to Arjuna firsthand, and he bestows his mercy on Arjuna. So Krishna is the essence of all the qualities in the world. He's the origin of all the great personalities. And Krishna feels that if Arjuna gets convinced about his vibhuti, about the Supreme Lord's vibhuti, he can surely engage in unalloyed devotional service without doubt. And this applies to all of us. So Arjuna is our spokesperson. He's right there listening to Krishna. And actually, Arjuna is asking all this for our benefit. So if we can hear along with Arjuna what Krishna has to say, then we can also be benefited. And if we get convinced of the wonderful opulences of Krishna, we can also engage in unalloyed devotional service without any doubt. What do we mean by unalloyed? Alloy, you all know, right? Scientifically, what alloy is. Alloy is a combination of metals. But devotional service should be very, very pure. It should be pure bhakti from the heart. It should not be mixed with other ulterior motives. Like I want this, I want that, so I will do devotional service. If we have such ulterior motives, then it is not called as pure devotional service. Unalloyed means without any tinge of any other desire. So that is unalloyed. So now Krishna is ready to impart this knowledge unto Arjuna. He wants Arjuna to engage in devotional service, and likewise he wants all of us to engage in nice devotional service. And this understanding that we are going to get from Krishna in this chapter is the summit of all knowledge, because it is going to give us details about how God is great and how we must surrender unto him. So we all know God is great. Everyone knows. Every religion, every faith talks about the controller, the source of everything, who is great. But how is he great? Right? What are the details about it? So that is what Krishna is going to speak through this chapter. And he recommends that we all surrender unto him, get free of doubt, and perform unalloyed devotional service. So that completes the first section. With C's, it was S, right? The first part was S, so we have completed that. Now we have a nice life lesson. Krishna's opulence is unlimited. Can you count the stars in the sky? Can you count the grains of sand in the universe? It is impossible, right? Krishna's creation, the Lord's creation is so magnificent. It is unlimited, and we are tiny sparks, tiny, like microorganisms in this world, and it is very difficult for us to fathom the greatness of the Lord. But if we want to understand his glory, one must have the right attitude. So again and again, right, whether it was the previous chapter or here, Krishna emphasized on the quality of a person who's listening. If the person has the right mood, he will be able to imbibe the right knowledge. So that is what Krishna wanted to tell through these few chapters, that he's going to reveal all his opulence. So there is a very nice story of a great saintly person by the name Parashara Bhatta. Parashara Bhatta was one of the successors of Sripad Ramanujacharya from the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, who established the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya far and wide. Parashara Bhatta, when he was a very, very small boy, a boy of just 5 years old, there was a Vijay Pandit who had come to Sri Rangam where he was residing. He was called a Sarvagnya Bhatta, meaning one who had knowledge about everything. His name was Sarvagnya. So he was riding on a palanquin, a great scholar, a great scholar. He had visited different parts of India and he was there in Sri Rangam calling out to the great scholars to have debates. In those days, the greatest sport was debating. Today, it could be soccer or in India, cricket or American football or whatever. But in those days, sport meant debate. Okay, intellectual debates were considered as the highest sport in those days. So this Vijaya Pandit or the Sarvagnya Bhatta, he was traveling on a palanquin. His servants were carrying him on a palanquin, and he was going from one town to the other, defeating great scholars in Vedanta. So he came to Sri Rangam and he was calling out to everyone, telling them, "Is there a scholar here in this town who can face me in a debate and who can win a debate with me? I have the answers to all the questions. I know everything about this world. I have everything. I know everything that is there in the Vedic literature. I can give answers to everything. I'm such a great scholar that there is no answer unknown to me." So he went around calling out people for a debate. And this reached the ears of a 5-year-old boy by the name Parashara Bhatta, who was just walking on the streets. And he saw that this so called scholar was so puffed up. He claims to know everything. Does he know everything about God? He doesn't even know anything about this creation. What to talk about knowing everything about God? So he was amused looking at the attitude that this great scholar had. So little Parashara, he walked up to the palanquin and he called out to the big Vijay Pandit. He said, "Mister, can you please answer my question? You say that you have answers to everything, right? You're so learned, you know everything. But can you give me answer to my little question?" And Sarvagnya Bhatta was very amused. He thought, "What is this? I mean, you're a little boy. The milk on your mouth has not even dried up, and you call me to have an intellectual debate? Who do you think you are?" And then Parashara, he said, "Why are you judging me based on my body? You call yourself a great scholar. So don't you know I am spirit soul? I'm not the body." That is the first lesson of the Bhagavad Gita Chapter 2, which everyone knows, which everyone on this call knows. So he asked this big Vijay Pandit, "Why are you judging me based on my body? Talk to me. It's an intellectual debate. So I have a question for you. Let's see if you can answer this question." So he was there in the banks of the river Kaveri. So he picked up a handful of sand, and he showed it to Sarvagnya Bhatta and asked him, "Can you tell me how many grains of sand is there in this handful?" And he was shocked. However great a scholar may be, you think he'll be able to give an answer as to how much sand is there within one's palmful? He was not able to say. He was completely shocked. He didn't have an answer and he was blank. And he thought, this is the greatest challenge someone has put forth in front of me. And then Parashara said, "It's simple. Just say it's a handful of sand." And then he told Sarvagnya Bhatta, "You're very puffed up. The quality of a true scholar or a truly learned person is that he's humble. The more you learn, the more you realize how less you know. A truly learned person would be extremely simple and humble at heart. He wouldn't be so puffed up, just like how a wonderful tree is that which has mature fruits that are hanging low. If the fruits are mature, it would be hanging low, it wouldn't be high up, right? So if you're really mature, if you're a really learned person, the first thing is you will bend low, you'll be humble. So humility is very, very important. It's a very important qualification to realize the unlimited greatness of Krishna. In Krishna's creation, just his creation, in one universe, in one country, in one town, in just one house, in your backyard, in a handful of sand, can you count the grains? You cannot count the grains. So that's the opulence of Krishna. Krishna is extremely opulent. That is just as energy. Just as energy is so much. So you can imagine how opulent the Supreme Lord himself, who's the source of all the energies, is. So with that mood, we will continue with the rest of the verses. So the next part is the essence of the Gita. That is where you find the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. And it talks a lot about Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So what is Sambandha, what is Abhideya, what is Prayojana, and why are we discussing that here? So, this entire canon of Vedic literature that we're talking about, it is summarized in a few aphorisms called as the Vedanta Sutras. So you all must be knowing that you have the Vedas, the four Vedas. There is Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas. You have heard all these terms. You must have also heard of something called as the Vedanta Sutras. What is the Vedanta Sutra? Vedanta Sutra is a condensed form of giving the summary of the Vedas. Okay, the Vedanta, which is the Upanishads, it's summarized in aphorisms. There are about 345 to 355, depending on the sampradaya, the count changes, but there are many aphorisms. And the first aphorism, what it is, it says Agato Brahma Jitnyasa. The first duty of every human being is to inquire unto the Supreme. That's what makes you different from animals. Animals are also eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Humans are also eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We are not very different from animals, but what makes us different? Some people say intellectual capacity, thinking power. Actually, even animals have it. We know dolphins are very intelligent. There are many species of animals who have all this, but human beings are endowed with something different. Vedanta Sutras say. They say you are able to inquire unto the Supreme. Why should you inquire unto the Supreme? You have to inquire unto the Supreme because that is your business. You're stuck here in this material world. You should first know who you are. You should know who is God, and you should know what is my relationship with God. That is the first business of every human being. Once you have taken a human birth, that is the first thing you should inquire into. So these four verses of the Bhagavad Gita speak about Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Sambandha means my relationship with God. Sambandha. What is my relationship with God? Abhideya. What is the process to nurture that relationship with God? What should I be doing here? What should I be doing here to establish that connection with God? That is Abhideya. And Prayojana. What is the goal of my life? What is the ultimate goal of any spiritual practice? How do I attain God? What is my relationship with God? How do I practice that and develop that relationship? And finally, how do I attain my goal? This is Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Now, this Chaturshloki, these four verses, they talk only about this to a great detail. So that's why it becomes the essence, the churned out essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So let's look at those four verses. As I mentioned, it is completely worth memorizing. So I know many people, they love memorizing verses and reciting, chanting the Bhagavad Gita is very auspicious. So definitely you would want to learn these four verses. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So now he's telling he is God. Okay, he's just proclaiming that, look, I am God. Everything comes from me. So all that you need to do is worship me. If you're wise, better worship me. Now, that is called as Krishna Sambandha. You're developing a relationship with God. And what is the abhideya that he already hinted in the previous verse? He says, worship me with all your hearts, right? That's what he says. But he details on how to worship. How do you worship? You worship by doing bhakti. Bhakti is the abhideya. Bhakti is the process of worship. He says, Matchitta matgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Remember, in one of our previous sessions, we spoke about Navavida Bhakti, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho Smaranam. That's how you practice devotional service. The first thing you do is Shravanam. You should listen. What should you listen to? You should listen to the Bhagavad Gita. You should listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam. You should listen to the message of God and about God. So to know a person, to develop a relationship with a person, you must hear about them. You should understand who that person is. What are his qualities? What are his activities? What does he do? How does he play? How does he walk? Everything about him. How does he look? Everything you should hear, you should understand, you should process. And Kirtanam, to sing the glories of his name, to talk about him, to do Harikatha, constantly hear and speak out. The more you speak out about a person you love, the more involved you get, the more you relish thoughts about that person. So anyone who falls in love goes through all this. They like to hear about their beloved. They like to talk about their beloved. And then they have constant smaranam, meaning constant thoughts in the night. They're thinking about their beloved. All the time, the thoughts about their beloved, the wonderful evenings or the wonderful mornings they spent with their beloved, they keep thinking about it over and over, right? So this is the formula even in mundane love in this world. So Krishna is telling, do that, do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, right to me, and you will understand me really well. So Navavida Bhakti, that is the process. The Abhideya is actually devotional service. So one should learn to constantly hear and chant. Krishna is telling, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss. They are so happy. Satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Rukmini, the way she fell in love with Krishna was just by hearing about Krishna. That's how she fell in love with Krishna. She didn't see Krishna face to face. She heard about Krishna. That is very important for us to practice this. Hearing and chanting are extremely important. Hearing and chanting will result in smaranam. The more you hear and chant, the more you start mananam, meaning you start thinking over and over, and you meditate on the Lord the more you hear and chant. Okay, so that is Bhakti Abhideya, and that was the next verse. Then third verse of the Chaturshloki is Prema Prayojana. What is the goal of everything? The goal of everything is to develop love of God. Prayojan is actually love of God. Now, to an extent, if you look at the previous verse also, Bhakti itself becomes a goal. Okay, what is the use of doing devotional service is to do more devotional service. What would you do in the spiritual world? You would be doing more devotional service. So they are all interrelated. But however, we call it as Prema Prayojan, develop a mature love of God. That is the ultimate goal of life. And the verse is, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they come to me. So one should be constantly engaged in serving the Lord with love. Prema, Preeti, all these is important. as the goal of life. But does Krishna help us through this process? He gives the guarantee. He says, Teshamevanukampartam aham ajnanajam tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvatam. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So, both in the fourth verse and in the third verse, he tells he himself guides that person. I give them the understanding by which they have to come to me. I guide their intelligence. I help them. And with a shining lamp, shining torch, I destroy all the darkness that is there in their heart. So Krishna is ready to give the mercy. He's saying, just engage in devotional service. I will help you to achieve the goal. So Krishna is very, very personal. He talks about Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana, and he tells it's very simple. Just be surrendered and I will walk you through the process. Don't worry. You can be confident that I am there with you throughout. So that is how these 4 verses turn out. And they are very important. They talk so much about Krishna's merciful nature. We don't have to feel at any point in time that we'll be left alone in the path of devotional service. It's Krishna's responsibility. So he will definitely take care. We are very limited by our own endeavors. It is so hard to achieve anything in this life. There's an impediment in everything we step into. But then if we are surrendered, Krishna says, don't worry, it's my business. It's my responsibility. I will take care of you. And that is the very mood of Sharanagati or surrender. Okay, so when he heard these 4 verses, so reassuring, when he heard these 4 verses, Arjuna, he made the ultimate statement at this point in time in the Bhagavad Gita. His heart was completely transformed. Remember, in the previous chapters, he had so many questions. He had so many doubts and so many questions. After he heard these 4 verses, he made a bold declaration. Arjuna said, Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhamma pavitram paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam majam vibhum ahustvam rishaya sarve deva rishir naradastata asito devalo vyasa swayam chaiva bravishime. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. So he's completely convinced. Arjuna is so confident. He's completely convinced. And he's saying, I understand now that you indeed are the absolute truth. Who's declaring it? The absolute truth is declaring it himself. Krishna himself is telling. Not only that, who else is substantiating it? All the great sages who have seen the truth are substantiating it. So one may think, oh, Arjuna and Krishna are friends. Right? So Arjuna is just trying to flatter Krishna because Krishna has been giving him so many answers. So Arjuna is just trying to flatter him. No, because Arjuna is telling it's not me who's saying it. It's not you yourself who's stating it. Even great sages who have spent all their life searching after the absolute truth, after reading through all the Vedic literature, they have just come to this one conclusion, that you are everything. They have substantiated it over and over. And now you yourself are opening your mouth and telling it to me. How fortunate. Now I agree, I accept. Yes, you are the absolute truth. Now Arjuna, actually he was convinced even earlier, okay, because when he surrendered, he itself, in 2nd chapter itself, he was convinced. But then he's doing this on behalf of all of us. Because we all need a representative, right? We all need a leader to follow. We need a representative. So he's doing this for all of us so that we can all understand the greatness of Krishna. And one may blame Krishna. One may think, oh, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's talking all about himself. What a show off, right? That's how people think. But then here, it's not a question of show off. It's actually Krishna just being openly transparent. He's been very merciful to tell everything, to give all the knowledge. He's telling the truth. I mean, who else can tell about him so well? It is only he who can talk about himself. So he's just doing us a favor. He's not showing off. So that is something that we all have to be clear. And even if someone thinks that he's just trying to, overrate himself as God, no, the answer is here, because all the sages have accepted this. They have spent eons searching after the absolute truth, and they found the absolute truth, and they have recorded it in all the Vedic literatures. So who else do we have to go to? We have all the proof. And the biggest proof is Krishna himself talking about his glories. Okay, so definitely it's not flattery. Life lesson. Oh, this doesn't work. Okay, this was actually a GIF image, but looks like it wouldn't work on this setting. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, so the idea, what is Krishna trying to do here? So Krishna is telling that I will take care of you, right? He keeps telling, I will show this lamp of light, and I will remove all the darkness in your heart. I will guide you through the process. I will take very good care of you. It's my responsibility. He goes on giving these assurances. So our situation is like the iron and the magnet. So Krishna is like a huge magnet, okay, huge magnet. And we are all small particles of iron. What does an iron have to do to actually go and stick to the magnet? Anyone wants to say what should the iron do to go and get attached to the magnet? Can anyone unmute or just send a text message?
Take a little step forward to magnet.
Exactly. Just take a few steps, enter the magnetic field. That's it. And you'll be sucked in. Actually, that's a very nice animated image where this whole thing goes and, kind of attaches to the magnet, like as if it has arms, it goes and hugs the magnet. So Krishna is like that. He's a huge magnet, and he's just waiting, just come in, and then it's a one-way traffic. You can never get out. Devotional service is like that. Devotional service is such that it's like a bait on the fish hook. So once you're stuck to that bait, you just have you escape. Whatever may happen, if you really practice devotional service even once in your life for a few minutes, it's a no way out. You will just be stuck to Krishna like the magnet, because he's taking care of you. He's taking all the responsibility. So he's going to make sure that you make it. And on the other side, you have a picture of two sages and a very saintly person. But actually, this person was not so much of a saintly person. He was a great hunter, Mrigari, and his business was to kill animals. And he would kill animals half dead. He would make them suffer, and then they would really suffer it out before they die. So he was very cruel. He was extremely cruel. But then, by chance, he met Narada Muni, who's a great devotee. We have emphasized enough about devotee association over and over through all these chapters. So Mrigari came across Narada Muni, and Narada just gave him a few leads. He just told him, very few things about devotional service, how you should chant, how you should give up sinful activities. And Mrigari took it up. But his little bit of devotional service, he caught on to it so fast that he became such a pure devotee that he was so scared to even harm ants on his way. When he was walking, there were ants, and he was using his cloth to actually clear away the ants. I don't know if you can see the picture here. Yeah, he's trying to clear away the ants on his way. He didn't even want to harm an insignificant ant. So that much was the change or the transformation in his heart. Because Krishna is taking care of you directly, a sign of progress in devotional service is the transformation of heart. You become a better person. So it's a win-win situation in all aspects. Devotional service not only makes you, a very good devotee and have connection with God, it also makes you a better person. So there was a complete transformation in this Mrigari, and he became a great sage. So that was SE, and then now we have E, everywhere, the second E, which is everywhere. So now Archana tells, After hearing the Chaturshloki, he made this bold declaration, you are Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, everything. He made all these declarations. And then he said, Krishna, I just want to keep listening about you. You know, only you know yourself fully, so only you can tell me more. So tell me more. The more you tell me, the more hankering I have to hear more about you. Because topics about Krishna never satiate the heart enough. You want to hear more and more. It is ever fresh. Sometimes when you watch certain mundane movies or something like that, you get bored. Second time is okay, third time is okay, but 10, 50 times if you have to watch the same thing, are you game for it? You get bored. You're like, show me something different. But then Harikatha, Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, these are all ever fresh every time. Every time you read it, it appears like I've never read this before. So most of you who are doing it must have this experience. So that is the nature of Krishna's glories. So Arjuna says it's ever fresh and I have no satiation. I just want to hear more and more and more about you. Actually, as I mentioned, Arjuna was kind of convinced, but for the sake of common people, he kept asking more questions at this point in time. He said, Oh Krishna, O supreme mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? He's asking for our benefit so that people who are very attached to things of this world can see Krishna through physical things. That is the point of Arjuna asking this question. He asks Krishna, tell me how I can know you. In what various forms can you be remembered in the world around us? When I see physical objects around me, how are the ways that I can be instigated to remember you? That's such a nice question, right? Just imagine, our eyes are constantly seeing so many things. So when I see a tree, or when I see a bird, or when I see the mountains, can I remember Krishna in some way? Nice, right? Nice question. So Arjuna asks this question. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate their mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations. So this is where Krishna begins to talk about his opulence, and he describes how he's in various things. Okay, and we should understand that Krishna, before he begins to give examples, he says, "My dear Arjuna, my opulence is unlimited. It's very hard, but I will only speak of the pradhana ones, meaning the only important ones. My vibhuti is unlimited, exceptional vibhuti. I have exceptional opulence, but I'll just say a few." Then he says, anything that you can relate to. So he starts with the demigods. He says, among the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Among the luminaries, I am the sun. You see the sky, you see the sun. So among the luminaries, I am the sun. Among the maruts, the different kinds of winds, there are 50 different kinds of winds that circulate in the atmosphere. He says, among the maruts, I am Marichi. Among the stars, I am the moon. Meaning among the shining objects in the sky, I am the moon. Among the Vedas, I am Samaveda. Demigods, I am Indra. Indra is the lord of the demigods. Among the senses, I am the mind. So we have seen this mind is the sixth sense. Among the living beings, and the consciousness. What is consciousness? What is a human being without consciousness? Consciousness is a symptom of life, right? So among living beings, I am consciousness. Among the Rudras, I am Shankara. Among Yakshas and Kuvera, among Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Kuvera. Among the Vasus, I am Agni, mountains, Meru, priests, Brahaspati, commanders in chief, Kartikeya, water bodies, ocean, great sages, Bhrigu, vibrations, the Omkara. Among the sacrifices, Japa. Among immovable things, Himalaya. Among the trees, banyan tree. Sages among demigods, I am Narada. Among the Gandharvas, Chitrarata. Perfected beings, I am Kapila. So he goes on up till verse number 42. And he says this is just pradhana. This is just a few important ones. You should definitely, I recommend, read the entire table. We can send out the slides right after this class. It's so interesting because anytime you look out in the sky or you look out of the window, you should be able to remember Krishna. So Krishna is pretty much everything. Anything that is cheap is actually Krishna, because everything comes from Krishna. Anything that is opulent, that is special, it becomes Krishna. Okay. Now, just a few verses which are again important in this chapter, I'm going to quote here so that we can all think about it for a while. Adityanamaham Vishnu Jyotisam Ravi Amshuman Marichir Marutam Nakshatranamaham Sashi. Of the Adityas I am Vishnu, of the lights I am the radiant sun, of the Maruts I am Marichi, and among the stars I am the moon. Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanam Asmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manahaschasmi Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Samaveda is actually a very, it's very melodious, it's very musical, and it glorifies the Lord. So that's why Krishna says, I am Samaveda among the Vedas. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind, and in living beings, I am the living force. We touched upon this already. Prahladaschasmi daityanam kalaha kalayatamaham mriganam cha mrigendroham vainateyascha pakshinam. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Who else can be a better demon? I mean, better demon in the positive sense than Prahlad. Among the subduers, I am time. This is very important. Time is the greatest subduer, right? Time actually finishes everything. Kalosmiyaham. Krishna says in another verse. We will do that verse in the future. So he is time among the subduers. Among the beasts and the lion, lion is the king of the jungle. So among the beasts and lion, and among the birds and Garuda, the greatest lord of all the birds. Pavanaha pavatamasmi Rama Shastra Bhratamaham Jashanam Makaraschasmi Srotasamasmi Janavi. Of the purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of the weapon, I am Lord Rama. Of fish, I am the shark. And of the flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. And these are again important verses. So I'm going to say these verses because we all should understand the importance of chanting. Maharshinam Raguraham Giram Asmi Ekamaksharam Yajnanam Japayajñosmi Sthavaranam Himalayah. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So different ages, they have different sacrifices that is recommended. For the age of Kali, it is Japa Yajna. One must chant the holy names of the Lord. And Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he says the best of all sacrifices is Japa. Don't go too far. You really don't have to light a sacrificial pit and start everything. Age of Kali, keep it simple. Chant. It is in fact the best of all yajnas. Yachapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna na tadasti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. There is no being moving or non-moving that exists without me. So again, he emphasizes in the final few verses that he is in fact the source of everything, whether it is moving or non-moving. And then in the verse 41, he says that I'm giving you so many examples. Krishna is telling, I gave you so many examples. Splendorous things. These are all great things in this universe, right? It's really, really magnificent things in this world. But then Krishna says, yes, all these are magnificent. All these are great. But then know that everything, anything glorious in this world, it's just springing from a spark of my splendor. Krishna is so splendorous. God is great. He's so splendorous that anything you see here in this world great is nothing but a tiny spark from him. So he says, Yad Yad Vibhuti Mat Sarvam Srimad Urjitamevacha Tat Tad Eva Grahachatvam Mama Tejo Amsa Sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So this is there's a picture where here you have Krishna and here you have the universe. Krishna is 1,000,000 times more opulent than the entire things of this universe. So of course the there is Shakti and Shaktiman. If Shakti is great, imagine the possessor of that Shakti, how great he must be. All extraordinary, opulent things should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence in this world. So here is the life lesson. This was told by Srila Prabhupada when a devotee actually was appreciating the beauty of this world, right? There are such beautiful places like maybe Hawaii. Hawaii is so beautiful, especially some of the islands like Hawaii and others. They look like heaven on earth. They're so beautiful. They are like out of, they look like as if they have just come off a wallpaper. So beautiful, waterfalls and birds and whatnot, so many colors. Just look at the ocean. Just look at the ocean. So many different kinds of fish, such beautiful colors. Just look at the butterfly, right? In its wings, it has so many colors. Look at the peacock. So anything you look at in this creation, the mountains and the forests and everything that is splendorous, right? They're all so wonderful. So a devotee was just appreciating how nature is so beautiful. Definitely nature is beautiful. It is so beautiful. So at that time, Srila Prabhupada, who is the commentator of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, he said, yes, nature is very beautiful. Everything around us is so fantastic. It is so nice. It is so varied. It is so colorful. If the painting is so beautiful, then imagine how beautiful the artist must be. Actually, that is the essence of this entire chapter. Krishna is telling, yes, everything around you is fantastic, it's opulent, it's great, but all that is just a spark of my splendor because it's just my Shakti. So you can imagine how great God is, how wonderful, how beautiful, how extraordinary God is. So if the painting is beautiful, just imagine how beautiful the artist is. So that is something we all have to contemplate as we come to the end of this chapter. And this is the final verse. Krishna finally tells, what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? I gave you so many examples, so much detailed knowledge. With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. This one universe that we are in, we are just one universe. Like this, there are millions and trillions of universes. And Krishna, with a single fragment of himself, he's pervading everything and he's supporting everything. That is his greatness. From Brahma, who is the most gigantic entity, down to the smallest ant, all of them exist in this world because Krishna has entered each one of them and he's supporting each one of them as the Paramatma, right? If we are alive, if we have consciousness because there is Atma, right? We are the spirit soul. We are not the body, we are the spirit soul. But the spirit soul is not alone. The spirit soul is always accompanied by the Lord. The Lord makes sure that he is with us everywhere, right? From the tiny ant till Brahma. He's with everybody. He's with everybody and he's holding up everyone. We are meaningless without Krishna, actually. Krishna accompanies us everywhere we go, whether we want it or not. He's always with us and he's holding up. And even these atoms in this universe, they're all put together. They are in particular form or they are existing only because Krishna is holding them up as the super soul. So Krishna is telling, by a single fragment of myself, I'm holding up everything here in this world. There are three Vishnus. Okay, how does he hold up everything? Again, our scriptures, they describe how Krishna actually enters everything in this world. There are three different super souls. We said super soul in the heart, right? All living entities, we all have a super soul. One meaning, generally we call him super soul. So Krishna is there within all of us. Now, Krishna, not only is he holding up living entities and non-living things, but all the universes, for the cluster of all the universes in this world, there is also a super soul who's called as Mahavishnu. How is that? There is this Mahavishnu who actually is responsible for creation. From his bodily pores, millions and trillions of universes are emanating. So you can imagine on your skin, there are so many pores, right? Millions of pores. So what comes out of your pores? At the max, sweat. We just produce sweat. But Krishna, or Mahavishnu, who lies in the causal ocean, from whom creation begins, from the pores of his skin, millions of huge universes emanate. They're called as Brahmandas. They are like really big universes. And each of these universes has a Brahma in it. And we are in one such universe where our Brahma has 4 heads. So he is called, that Mahavishnu is called as the collective super soul of all the universe. Now, within each universe, the same personality, he expands and he comes and he lies down in the bottom of that universe, and he's called as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. The first Vishnu is called Karanodakashayi Vishnu, and now he expands further and he becomes Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. From the navel, or from his navel, a lotus sprouts, and on the top of that lotus is the topmost universe where the first created living being, Brahma, sits. So this Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is called as the super soul of this universe. And he further expands into each and every living entity and every atom within this universe. And he's called as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who comes inside everyone's heart. And he also takes his residence in the ocean of milk, within this universe where demigods approach him and offer prayers there. So this is the Lord. He, with a single fragment of himself, he just holds up everything in the universe. So we think we are great, right? We always have this thought that I am in control. I will control things, but actually we are not in control of anything. Yes, we should do our duties. There is no question about it that you should not do your duties or something. Everyone should do your duties at the utmost sincerity. Krishna recommends that, right? From the beginning, he kept telling, you cannot, be without acting even for a second. He has mentioned that several times. So definitely, we have to do our activities, but we should not be control freaks, meaning think that we are the ultimate controllers of everything and then get frustrated if we are not able to control a situation. So we should have that maturity. We should understand our position. There's a nice story about this. God has a plan. He has things in control. He has it his way. But oftentimes we like him to work out things in our way, which is not possible, which is not at all possible. So here is the story of a sweeper who wanted to become God. So it's a sweet story. It's just a fiction story. It's not a true story or not a Puranic story. So once there was a sweeper of the temple of Lord Sri Krishna, and he was very sincere. He was doing his duty nicely. He would sweep the temple. He loved Krishna a lot. And then he went to the deity in the temple and he told Krishna, my dear Krishna, you're standing all day. Aren't you tired? Do you think I can help you? Do you want me to take your position and stand for you? And you can actually take my position and you could just walk around, or you could sit somewhere and take some rest. So Krishna said, oh, that's a good idea. Thank you for helping me. But then how do you think that's possible? How can you stand instead of me and I do the sweeping instead of you? Krishna told, and the sweeper told him, it's not very difficult. You are all powerful. You are the source of everything. So you just, stand like, take this broom and go like me, and I'll take your form and I'll stand there. So Krishna said, that's a good deal. We can do it for a day. And Krishna became the sweeper and the sweeper became Krishna. Okay. So now, before Krishna left that place, he told the sweeper, my dear new Krishna, now you have to be very careful. Your business is just to stand there and be a witness to everything. You should not interfere in anything. What is the role of the super soul? The role of the super soul is to be a witness and sanctioner of everything, right? So he told, just be a witness, smile, and then just listen to people. That's all. You don't have to do everything, because ultimately I'm in control. So you don't have to interfere or do anything. Just stand there and keep listening to people and keep watching people. So he said, okay, I'll do my best. And then he goes and he stands as Krishna. Now, first, at that time, after the sweeper left, there was a very, very rich man who came by. So he had a suitcase full of money, and he came there and he told Krishna, thank you, Krishna, for everything that you have done for me. I want to make a small donation to the temple. And he makes a donation, and then he tells his problems, his business issues, and he requests Krishna to help him. So now the sweeper is Krishna, right? So the sweeper is standing there as the deity. The sweeper is silently watching what the rich man had to do. But however, the rich man, he just left a suitcase by mistake, a suitcase of money, and he went away. Now, right after he went away, a poor man came. Now, this poor man was very simple hearted, a very nice devotee. He just had one coin, 1 rupee coin. So he just went and he dropped that 1 rupee coin in the hundi, in the box. And then he prayed to Krishna and he said, "My dear Krishna, I want to always be a nice devotee. Let me be a devotee. Also, I have a problem. I'm really poor. Please make sure that I get some food today and my wife and children are fed and we have a leaking roof. So if something can be taken care of, I'll be extremely grateful." He says that, and the sweeper, who's now Krishna, was listening and he kept silent. But when he opened his eyes, when this poor man opened his eyes fell on the suitcase. And he had so much faith that it was Krishna who gave him that suitcase. And he looked up at the deity and he said, "You have immediately answered my prayers. Thank you so much." And he took the suitcase and went away. Now, the sweeper who was standing as Krishna was a little confused. He wanted to stop him because it was not his money. But still, he just stood there because Krishna had ordered him to just stand. And after a while, a sailor came by, a navy person. And he came and he prayed to the deity and he told the deity that, "My dear Krishna, I'm going on a mission now and I make sure that I have a safe journey. I don't, the weather could get a little rough. So I pray to you that I stay safe and everyone on the ship is safe." So he prayed that, and when he was praying like that, this rich man realized that his money was missing, and he came back to the temple and he saw the sailor standing there. So immediately he came to the conclusion that the sailor has taken away all his money, has taken away that suitcase, and he brought the cops and he lodged a complaint against the sailor and he got the sailor arrested. Okay. At this time, the sweeper, who was standing as Krishna, decided that I cannot shut my mouth and keep quiet. Now, here is an innocent sailor who's going to be punished. So the deity begins to talk. So he decided to talk against Krishna's instructions. So he opened up his mouth and he said, "Stop, don't take him. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He's innocent. The money of this rich man was taken away by a poor man. The sailor has nothing to do with this." Now, here, the rich man and the police, they all didn't have any faith. So they just looked and they thought, "Hey, sailor, you even do mimicry? You're talking like as if Krishna is talking. What are you up to? You're such a crook. You're such a cheat." And they beat him up and they took him to jail. So nothing worked. The sweeper tried to stop, but nothing worked. And then after the day was over, they returned their roles, Krishna and the sweeper. They went back to their original roles. So Krishna went back to the deity form and the sweeper took his broom and he stood there. And then Krishna asked, "How was your day? How was it being God? How was your day?" And the sweeper said, "It was very, very hard." And he told the entire story of the rich man, the poor man, and the navy man or the sailor who was actually arrested. He said, "I tried to stop being God. I tried to stop him, but he was arrested." And then Krishna smiled and told him, "I told you not to interfere. It was not a good idea to interfere. Even if you interfere, nothing happened, right?" So then Krishna explains, actually, the rich man who had come, he had earned money in some sort of a shady business, which was not very good. So it was right that he had to lose the money. The poor man who came was very, very genuine, and I wanted to help him. So that's the reason his eyes fell on the suitcase, and he had so much faith in me. He really thought that I gave him the money, so he took the money. Now the sailor, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. But that day, the weather was really rough. If he had gone on the ship, definitely he would have lost his life. That is the reason I made sure that he got arrested and he stayed in the jail for a night. The next day, the police will find out that he's innocent and release him. So everything is under my control. It's all my plan. But sometimes we little living entities, we think we are in control and we don't have enough trust in God. So it's a very sweet story to explain, I mean, how Krishna is actually ultimately in control. And sometimes we become control freaks. We think we know we can get it all done. See, it's not wrong to do our duty, not wrong to act, but we should not think that everything is under my control. We are not the ultimate controllers or proprietors of anything in this universe. So it's a good way for us to, it's a good thing if we can all remain humble and realize the greatness of the Supreme Lord. So finally, let me summarize. I know we are 2-3 minutes over time, so I'm going to quickly summarize. This is our acronym SEES. S, source of everything. S is the source of everything, yes. So Krishna first again talks about the qualification of a listener. He tells that I am the source of all different qualities that you see in this world. All the qualities, there's so many different qualities, and the source of everything. I'm also the source of all the great personalities in this world. I'm the source of all demigods, the Maharishis, everybody, I'm the source. Then he talks about the essence of the Gita, which is the Chaturshloki, which was very good, very interesting to understand the ultimate position of Krishna. And Arjuna was convinced, right? Arjuna said, Param Brahma, Param Dhama. I now declare that you are everything, complete conviction after listening to the Chaturshloki. And we saw how Krishna is everywhere. Anything that is magnificent is actually Krishna, everything opulent, and he's the seed of everything, and his vibhuti is infinite. He just said, I'm going to say a few chief things about my greatness. And then we saw how Krishna actually sustains everything in this world. Everything is just being held up by Krishna's energy. We are not doing anything. Even the soul by itself is useless, actually. Even that needs the Paramatma to hold it up. So Paramatma is everywhere. And we spoke about the three Vishnus, how this entire manifestation is being held by Krishna. And for that, Krishna doesn't have to take too much effort. Like you have seen this picture of the Atlas man, a muscular man holding the Atlas like that, and he's so strained, he's holding it up like that. Krishna is not taking care of this universe like that Atlas man. For him, just by seeing, he can create. Just by smiling, he can actually animate everything. So that is God. God doesn't take so much effort. Like how when we carry, groceries, we have to put it everywhere, 2 hands, and then we have to do 10 trips. Krishna is not like that. He's really God. So that is our chapter for today. So if there are any questions or anything you want to say, please go ahead. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. It was such a nice way you completed the whole chapter. You were so composed, so calm, and you ended with nice, interesting story. Yes, we all are control freaks in some sense, but Krishna is the ultimate controller. Wonderful session, Mataji. Thank you so much. Now I request devotees, they can raise their hands, they can type their questions in the chat box, or they can simply unmute and ask your questions. You can please go ahead now. Okay, I hope everybody is awake.
Let's put everyone to sleep.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, just one question.
No, Mataji, definitely not. It was very, very beautiful explanation. So it's kind of like, we can say all clear. It was that interesting. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful session. Mataji, like one question. In one of the sloka, it was told like Krishna says, I am the Narada. Is it like Krishna's expansion, or Narada is a separate soul? How can we understand, Mataji, like those slokas? He says a lot of things.
Yeah, he says a lot of things. So the best of everything, the magnificent of everything is him. So the best of all the Deva Rishis is Narada. So Krishna is represented by Narada among the Deva Rishis. That's how we should understand it. That is one part of the answer. The other thing is, yes, Narada is also Bhakti Avatara. He is a Jiva who's empowered by Krishna, Shakti Avesh Avatara, to accomplish a particular task. What is the task that Narada does? He is specially empowered by Krishna to spread devotional service. He's called as Bhakti Avatara according to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam lists many incarnations of the Lord. One of the incarnations of the Lord listed by the Bhagavatam is Narada, but not Swayam Avatara, meaning he's not Krishna himself. Right? He is a Jiva who's empowered by Krishna to accomplish a particular task. Shakti Avesha. Okay, like Parashurama. Parashurama was empowered by the Supreme Lord to actually annihilate the Kshatriya kings who were posing a great problem at that time. So what he did was he annihilated all the evil forces. But he's a Jiva. He is not the Supreme Lord. So like that, among avatars also, there are varieties of avatars. So you have Yuga Avatara, meaning the special incarnation in every Yuga who comes and establishes the Yuga Dharma. Then you have Manvantara Avatara. Every Manvantara has a particular Avatara who comes. Leela Avataras, which is the celebrated Dashavatara. Oftentimes we know of only 10 incarnations, right? But they are Leela Avataras. They came to perform certain particular pastimes. They're called as Leela Avataras. And you have these Guna Avataras, and then like that, like the three Vishnus are also Avatara. So like that, avatars are many. And Narada represents Bhakti Avesha Avatara. Yes. But anyway, Shakti Avesha for Bhakti, sorry. And the other thing is when Krishna is talking about Vibhuti Yoga, here in this chapter, he's telling the best of everything. See me in the best of everything. That is the point. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
So when you see something extraordinarily beautiful or extraordinarily magnificent, remember it is nothing but Krishna's Shakti.
I know. Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Avanish Kumar, I think.
Yeah, Avanish Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. So just I have a question out of the story that you tell, and you said that Krishna is in control of everything, right? When like transfer of merchant happened to the poor guy. But how about when he also said that merchant earned the money with the some other activities, not a good way, but at that time Krishna allowed him to earn money in that way. That's
yes,
what
he is a silent witness. As we understand, Krishna is a witness and sanctioner. That's all. Free will is something that we all have. Okay, he's in control, meaning like he has a plan in totality. He has a particular plan, but it doesn't mean that our free will is removed. Everyone has their free will. If we don't have free will, how are we going to love God? Nobody wants robots, right? So Krishna, to love God, he is very personal. To love God, we should have our individuality. Free will is definitely there for everyone. Krishna didn't make a bunch of robots. So he has his free will. With his free will, he's misusing it and he's earning it wrongly. But the situation that is happening, turn of events, is ultimately under Krishna's control. Okay? Made sense?
No, Mataji, it didn't make sense, because if at one point at the end, like Krishna is controlling, okay, like he says that, okay, I am the planning everything, all the activities, right? Because he must have the future plan for the 10 years.
Definitely, he will have a future plan for this merchant as well, the rich man, obviously, because he's going to accrue bad karma, he's going to suffer. So because he's not earning the money in the right means, he will obviously suffer for that. And that part of that is not covered in that particular section of the story, but it is to come. Maybe part 2, we'll see that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but karma is, no one can have ways around karma. So karma is also planned by Krishna, right? So if you do something bad, obviously you will have to suffer. There's no question about it.
So actually, Krishna is planning the bad karma and the good karma. Like to compensate it, he's planning the good karma also. Do you mean that? Like he first plans the bad karma, okay, do this one. And if, because he's planning it, so it's not in our control then, because he's doing everything then.
So karma is what we accrue, right? So when we perform an action, it is our karma. The law of karma was given by Krishna, but he doesn't micromanage. So whatever you do, you are responsible for your actions. Krishna doesn't micromanage in that aspect. But generally, law of nature, all that is put forth by Krishna.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mataji.
Very well.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, Krishna stays in everybody as a super soul, right? So he'll be watching all the time, or at what stage he will be helping or guiding us?
Yes.
Or,
so the Upanishads, they talk about the two birds in a tree. So one bird is eating the fruits of the tree and enjoying nicely. And the other bird is simply sitting and watching, and he's not eating the fruits at all. He's just watching. What is he watching? He's watching so that this bird who's eating stops and looks at him, turns to him. So he's waiting for that moment. The minute this bird turns to him, then he starts reciprocating, and the whole thing changes, the whole scene changes. So Krishna is that the other bird, who's the silent bird who's sitting. The Upanishads talk about this. Two different Upanishads, they give the same analogy. So Krishna is waiting as the super soul in our heart. The minute we turn to the super soul in our heart, he starts reciprocating with us. He starts reciprocating with us. He gives us the intelligence, and then we can advance in devotional service. So what is he doing? Yes, he's just going to be a witness and sanctioner till you actually turn to him. Once you turn to him, he takes over, he takes control. So you see, great realized souls, they're very connected to the Lord. They're very connected to the super soul. But that takes a lot of sadhana and practice. Okay.
okay, yeah, thanks, sir.
Anything else? Okay. I think there are no questions in the chat, right?
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes, Neha, Mataji.
I have a question. Like I see your lectures, then I see Kirtida Sundari Mataji. You people I wonder how do you live this kind of lifestyle? And what time you must wake up and your day may end, and how do you live this kind of lifestyle? I cannot even do that.
Mataji, we all start somewhere, right? We just start somewhere and it builds up over a period of time. So if you can just start chanting 1 or 2 rounds, I mean, I don't know, you could already be chanting more. I don't know. Are you chanting, Mataji? Sorry to
Yes,
ask.
Mataji. Yes.
Okay. So if you have already started chanting, right, you'll be chanting. We all start. See, when I started with 1 round, then it became 2, then 4, then 8, then slowly it built up to 16. When I started, I was very, very slow. It didn't happen overnight. But then let me tell you, as you continue the practice of Krishna consciousness, your lifestyle keeps changing and it improves for the best. And you're able to accommodate everything in your life. So initially it is overwhelming. How can you do all of this? How can you manage life like this? It's going to be there's so much to do, right? Like you have to hear, you have to chant, you have to do this, do that. It all sounds overwhelming, but then slowly take it one at a time. And I assure you, not only me, everyone will assure you that this is the most blissful thing that you can ever get. Once you are into it, Krishna will help you. Things will speeden up so much that you can accommodate everything in your life. So that surrender and faith, just have a little faith, Krishna will take care of the rest. Magnet, he's that. Yes. And you'll be very happy.
Like you just explained to the gentleman about the super soul. So I am sure that you must be you must be in connection with the super soul all the time, right, Mataji?
No, Mataji. Honestly, no. I have to be very honest. No, Mataji. There are great personalities. It may appear because you've just seen us right on the video, but really we have a long way to go. All of us are sadhakas. We are all trying. That's all. Maybe I just have 1 or 2 extra years. I went ahead, but it's nothing. It's nothing, Mataji. We are all nothing. Yeah. We're all trying, but there are great sannyasis and great personalities who are walking the earth even now who can actually be in connection with the super soul. Our Guru Vargas, we are all great, Mataji. We are all trying. We can speak. Speaking is one thing. We can speak. We are trying our best to do this. Bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Discussing about Krishna, we're trying, that's all, Mataji. But everyone, we all have a long way to go.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Just I wanted to share some thoughts, like two Prabhujis asked some questions about, about that story. So one thing come in my mind, if you think about the puzzle, take the puzzle when you come, so if you see only one piece of puzzle, we are like that, basically. We cannot see. And the Krishna is the creator. He knows the picture right from he has a 360-degree view. Let's think in that way.
Right.
So he knows that. So we cannot understand how the Mahajan got the wealth and all, what karma he did that. So please think in that way. We have only tiny bit knowledge, in this age or this birth, basically. We don't remember what we have done in the past.
Correct.
So
very nice.
Just wanted to share that.
Very beautiful example of the puzzle, Prabhu. That we are just seeing one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
And Krishna is trying to create a beautiful painting out of us. But before the painting is complete, we are trying to check it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's a mess, right? Before the painting is complete, you don't know where the nose is, where the ears is.
Absolutely.
It's all smudgy. It's all messed up. But once the painting is complete, then you understand the complete picture. Okay, this is what Krishna wanted to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. It was amazing. The energy you have, amazing. I really... I'm pretty sure nobody even blinked their eyes throughout the session, so it was amazing session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Mataji, you said 3 things, right? One was that Sambandh, Abhideya, and Prayojan. So Abhideya means like the process or maybe activities to achieve that goal. So is it like Vigraha Puja or chanting, those things we do? Is that called Abhideya?
Yeah, chanting,
okay, that is what
hearing, deity worship.
Readings, listening. Okay, these all are Abhideya. Okay.
Bhakti, yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to confirm that. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay, so thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji, for wonderful session and of course wonderful question and answers. So, do we have anything in the chat? No, right? No other questions. Yes, one Prabhuji asked about the PowerPoint. Yes, we have been posting and we will post all the PPTs and the recording in the group. So, Prabhu, you are in the group, so you will get it. So we'll end up here. Thank you so much.
Mataji, your voice is fading in and out.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for joining us and hope to see you all next week with a wonderful next chapter, 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarvascha kripa sindhuva evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai. All the temple devotees ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
So
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Ball.